Have you ever saved all year for that one family vacation and ended up stressed out about every single dollar?
Not anymore. Hi, I'm Mary Ellen.
And I'm Joe. We're two busy moms who have cracked the code on travel with points and miles.
We're here to show you how we turn everyday expenses into extraordinary vacations.
This is Wonderland on Points, where we share tips and tricks to help you earn free and deeply discounted travel.
Let the adventure begin. Welcome back to Wonderland on Points. We are so excited that you have joined us. Today, we are going to dive into a great domestic property. Lately, we have had so many great episodes about international trips all over the world. We love that Points and Miles can help you explore this whole big world, but we also love that it helps unlock the United States, and domestic trips are awesome.
It was pretty fun to open my text messages and be like talking to you and then you being like, this is my view right now. I feel like usually we know when each other are going places. I did not know you were going anywhere. So I'm thinking I'm just bothering you at home. And in fact, I'm bothering you from a pool.
Oh, that's okay. I was fine with being bothered and getting to share with you this great property because I was caught off guard. Today we're going to talk about the Hyatt Regency Chesapeake Bay, which is in Maryland, and I live in the greater DC area. So this is a property that is relatively close to my home, and yet I had never paid attention to it. I really had never, I guess I'm always searching on the Hyatt app for places outside of where I live
Mm-hmm.
to go visit, and I really hadn't done. I've looked in DC for hotels in like right in DC for a staycation, but for whatever reason I've always overlooked this property, and that was a mistake. I have a good friend who ever since COVID, she has very young children, and so she can't travel a lot right now. Air travel is just kind of out of the question. I mean, they have a lot of young children. They have like 4 kids, 3 of them are 3 and under. They have a set of
Wow.
twins. Yeah, legit. But she says she loves to do staycations here. And so she finally convinced me and put it on my radar. And I'm so glad she did.
Yeah, it looked absolutely incredible. So, start from the beginning. Tell people which airport they would need to fly into if they are not within driving distance like you. And then let's move on to talking about the cost.
Yes. So if you want to fly here, you would probably come into BWI would be your best option. And that's going to be great for Southwest. BWI, which is Baltimore, has a ton. It's like a Southwest hub. Okay. So you want to look at Southwest flights. You could also very easily fly into DCA, which is right in DC. So this would be a great trip to do in conjunction with maybe you want to be in DC for a day or two looking at monuments, museums, but then you want to get outside of the city, go to a resort property, it's on the water. So you could, if you're coming in, flying in from somewhere far away, I would say do it in conjunction with maybe a day or two in DC as well.
Ooh, I love that idea. A little bit of city, a little bit of beach.
Yeah, we didn't enjoy the bay. We enjoyed looking at it. Now, I don't know that they had like an actual sandy shore. There are certainly many of those in and around Chesapeake Bay. You can find places. You're probably going to want to have a car because even if you fly into BWI or you fly into DCA, this is going to be like an hour away. So it's not the easiest thing to like get an Uber, although you could ride share over there for an hour. I have done a ride share for an hour before. But it's a property that I think it's best to have a car. So either get a rental car or maybe you're driving in from somewhere. So if you're driving, there are definitely places where you could drive and find a beach. Now it's waterfront on the bay and they have kayaks. There's a marina. There's certainly opportunity to be out on the water. But someone did message me. I actually had a listener who or follows on my Instagram and said, hey, what beaches are there that we could actually like dig and play in the sandy shore? And I thought, you know what? Because we were there in the winter, I did not look for an immediate beach, but I know of many in the Chesapeake Bay area. So I'm sure that they are there. And it's about an hour from Ocean City, Maryland, which is a
Mm,
popular place to go to the beach. So I
yeah.
was even looking for my own family. If we go back in the summertime, could we enjoy a few days at this property and then do a day trip to the beach? Just drive an hour, go to the beach for the day, the actual Atlantic Ocean beach, and then come on back to the bay. And I think that's very reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely. The pictures of the skyline and the water were just so stunning. Okay, so what did you spend per night on this day? What category Hyatt is this?
This is a Category 5 Hyatt at the moment. Now, especially this episode is coming out beginning of February. This time of year is when we often get a list from Hyatt of the properties that are going to change categories. So, at the time of recording, this is a Category 5. So, if it's off peak, it's going to be 17,000 points a night. If it's peak, it's going to be like 23,000 points a night. And you could find a happy little middle ground there at 20,000. So that's the range that you're going to be spending a night. But guess what? We actually didn't use Hyatt points for this. Can you believe it?
What did you, in fact, use to book it?
It was a little painful for me, actually, because I think this is a better Hyatt points property than anything else to use points for. But my husband, at the end of last year of 2025, he had a new City Strata Elite card, and we wanted to use the hotel credits. You need at least a 2-night stay, and then you get a $300 credit. So we actually booked with cash with his City Strata Elite, but it was $300 off the price of the stay. And the stay included breakfast when we booked it that way through that city travel portal. So we thought, all right, it feels weird to be paying any dollars for a hotel because
Mm-hmm.
we book with points. We don't ever really, I mean, it's honestly been years since we've paid cash for a hotel because we just use points, period. But in this situation, we were like, all right, $300 off the price tag of something is very significant. I think the stay was a little over $400. So we paid a little over $100 for the 2-night stay at this resort that included breakfast.
I think that sounds great.
But you know what was not included in that because we take it for granted? We didn't book with points, we paid cash. So guess what
Mm-hmm.
else we had to pay?
Resort fee.
Yes. So I did take that into account when we were booking it, but it was painful because I was like, I have the points. I know that we could have booked this with points and paid nothing out of pocket, but I don't regret it. I still think, a good use of his $300 credit, and we loved the property. But I do think that resorts like this, they kind of nickel and dime you a little bit. I mean, I'm not saying
Yeah.
that they did more than any other place, but resorts in general. And so that's what we love about paying with points is with Hyatt, we don't have to pay those extra fees that you do with cash.
Mm-hmm. Was there a parking fee?
It was actually free parking, which I really appreciate. I will say there were 2 different parking lots, though. There was a free parking lot, and then there was a preferred parking lot. So
Oh.
I was not a globalist at the time of our stay, and it was all under my husband's name. So they actually didn't have my name. They didn't have my Explorus, then his Explorus status. So I don't know who gets that preferred parking. I'm guessing globalists would get to park in that preferred lot. We were in the free lot and it was fine. It's not that much further of a walk.
So you guys didn't get your status qualifying anything for this stay, right? Since you had to book it through.
We did not, which was also painful for me. But I will say I'm waiting for things to post because the night after our first morning there, okay, so we checked in the evening afternoon. The next morning, I went up to the front desk because they had his City Strata Elite card on file, and I said, "Can I please change this over to my Hyatt card because I want, if we're paying for any meals on property, anything on property, I want to be charged to my Hyatt card so I get points." And so they changed it over and they were like, "Oh, okay, we will change all of this over to your account. Oh, we see that you're an Explorist. Thanks for being an Explorist with us." So
Oh,
they then started recognizing that. And then I even changed to Globalist before we checked out, which is a new thing for me. Very exciting. Well, that'll be a tale for
woohoo.
another day. But by the end, they were like, "Oh, you're a globalist." But when we checked in, they had none of that information. So we didn't get a room upgrade. We didn't get any of the perks that would have normally come with those
To
statuses.
switch halfway through is so funny. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the room first. So, give us the lay of the land. You said there was no upgrade. So, this was a room for 5 of you. Tell us what kind of a room it was. What was the layout? Did you guys fit comfortably?
Yeah, we fit very comfortably. So this was a standard room. We had two, I guess it was queen beds. Honestly, I don't know if it was a queen or a double bed because I'm so used to sleeping in a double bed at home that I wouldn't notice if it felt small, right? I think it was probably a queen size bed. And then we bring a toddler cot. I have a toddler cot that I love for my preschooler. And the room was big enough that I was able to put that cot off in the corner, and the room felt very spacious still. It did not, I guess lately I've been staying in a lot of, New York City hotel rooms that are really packed and small. So this room felt plenty spacious enough for our family. It had a little fridge that was kind of like a wine fridge, so it wasn't super
Mm.
cold, but it did have a little empty fridge that we went to the Walmart nearby. There's an Aldi nearby, tons of options nearby if you want to bring your own snacks. We got some milk because first thing in the morning, my daughter needs milk. So we put all that in their little refrigerator. And then my husband commented, and he was right. The TV in that standard room was the biggest TV I've ever seen in a hotel room. It might have been like the biggest TV I've ever seen in my life. In like
Oh my
not in a
gosh.
restaurant up on mounted somewhere, but just in like a normal person's home or in a hotel. It was a very large screen, which was nice. The room overall, some people have said the property, different elements like the bathroom, maybe felt a little dated. But honestly, it wasn't, there were enough refined, updated elements that the whole property does not, to me, scream outdated or run down. I think the styling and the decoration is very nice and very classy. If you look real hard, you can find some things, but overall, it was a standard room, massive TV, plenty of room, a little refrigerator, a safe, all of those things. What I appreciated, this is such a small detail, but something we can all appreciate, especially with this being a waterfront property, pools. In the bathtub, they had a clothesline where you could hang all of your bathing suits on the
Nice.
clothesline. Yeah, it's so, those little touches go a long way when you're traveling with the family.
Yeah, they absolutely do. There's nothing worse than trying to dry your swimming suit over the side of the bathtub and then they don't dry and then you have to put them back in your suitcase wet. I love a clothesline. You guys did not apply a guest of honor to this, but you did get to experience the free breakfast. And so I think that you could say with confidence that this would be a good property to apply a guest of honor to if somebody wanted to do that.
Absolutely. This is the perfect property to do that because you want to save money on food. They have restaurants on site, there's food available, but you have to pay for it. So if you apply a guest of honor and you could get free breakfast for your family, that would go a long way because you can load up on breakfast, eat a nice hearty breakfast, and then maybe not just kind of snack through the day and then pay for dinner somewhere. The breakfast buffet. So we got to experience two different things, which was very interesting. It was a holiday weekend that we were visiting. This is the off season, right? This is January. This is very much the off season for them. But we were there on a holiday weekend. So the very first morning that we were there, they had the full breakfast buffet. There was an omelet station. There was, a ton of pastries. There were hot entrees. There were all kinds of things. Big full breakfast buffet. Wonderful. We were so excited, throughout the day. I'm thinking which items I'm going to get tomorrow off the breakfast
Oh
buffet, right?
no.
Our whole family was, right? This is what I'm going to get tomorrow. We walk in the next day, which was no longer the holiday weekend because it was a Monday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day that we were there. And then Tuesday, where most people have gone back to work, but my kids were still out of school. So we were there on Tuesday. They were like, look, the hotel has like 50 people in it. We don't have the breakfast buffet when the hotel is not full. So we did still get a free breakfast, but it was you order off a menu like a restaurant. So you have to pick one entree, you can have one drink, and it's not the all you can eat, delightful, massive buffet. So we weren't expecting that. But I asked a lot of follow up questions because I was like, hey, I want to be able to tell my friends about this. And so they said that during high season, from at least Memorial Day through about October, they have the buffet every single day because there's enough people at the hotel to sustain that. Otherwise, in the off season, spring break week, they're going to have the buffet every single day. If they have, a huge conference staying at the property and they just have enough people, they will have the buffet. But typically in the off season, weekends they have the buffet and holidays they have the buffet. So if you're there during the week and it's December, January, February, probably not going to have the buffet available.
That's super good information. Although I saw on your Instagram that the food was even better, but it's not quite the same as just getting to pick from all of these options right in front of you. You can have a little of everything. It kind of feels more like you're pigeonholed into one choice. And I don't know about everybody else, but I like to try lots of different things.
It's true. And I will say, though, if you're one of these people, you're a foodie, you like a menu because you do want it made to order specifically for you, you can choose from the menu even on buffet days, or you can choose to have the buffet. So you do have that other option as well on the buffet days.
Did you get a sense for what the breakfast price per person would have cost, like for the buffet, if you guys hadn't had it included with that City Strata Elite portal booking situation?
Okay, I can't swear by all of this, but I can tell you what I do know and what my husband figured out. So, kids under 5 are free. So, my 4-year-old didn't have to pay for the buffet. Now, when it was ordering off the menu, they charged me for her. So, I
Mhm.
went to the front desk. I was like, what is this about? They were even a little unsure, couldn't get a great answer. But when
Hmm.
it's buffet days, kids under 5 are free, maybe even 5 and under. But when you do have to pay for them, this is the part my husband figured out with kids, supposedly you pay their age. So a 10-year-old costs $10, a 6-year-old costs $6. So that's kind of a nice way to do it because I think the adult buffet is very expensive. I don't know
Mhm.
for sure, maybe 35, maybe 40, like a high amount, right? A bigger, but closer to my actual age. But for kids at least, they don't charge that. They more charge the age of the kid. Now that's what my husband says. I did not talk to an employee about that, but that sounds more reasonable to me.
It's extremely reasonable. There's a place called Pizza Ranch here, and they charge the same way. And I think it makes a lot of sense. Total side tangent, but the fact that children aged 14 cost the same at an all inclusive resort as a fully grown drinking adult is the most insane thing I've ever heard. Ask me
Agree.
why I'm frustrated about that right now. We'll get into that later. That's an upcoming trip that is not very doable on points. So I'm sure there will be a story to tell there. But anyways, charging by age makes sense. That's the point of that very small tangent. All right, moving on from the food. Unless did you eat any other meals at the resort or you just kind of went the grocery store route?
We did get we'll call it a snack during late lunchtime in what they called the library, which is overlooking the bay. I mean, almost all of the property overlooks the bay. It's really beautiful no matter where you are. We ordered some cheese fries and we ordered some salads, and they were just okay. The fries, they were good. I will say they tasted good. We ate every last one of them. But as far as cheese fries go, they were a little weak on the cheese. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. How dare they? Besides, no fry can ever live up to the Park Hyatt Vienna fries, so I don't know how you'll ever enjoy fries ever again.
So true.
Oh, sad. Okay, well, then that is the food. Let's move on to activities because I saw a couple videos that looked very fun. I personally, you know how much I love the hot cold mixture. For anybody who saw my Instagram when we were in Vienna, I'm big into like the windows open and letting in 10-degree air when I'm in a hot bathtub. I love a hot tub outside in the dead of winter, and you got to experience that. And I was so jealous and so happy for you at the same time.
It was very lovely. I don't know when the last time, honestly, that I was in a hot tub. It's been a while. They can sketch me out
Mm,
sometimes.
okay,
I'm
okay, fair.
cautious with hot tubs. But I did go in the hot tub here and it was lovely. So they have a large indoor pool, which is what made this the destination we chose for winter a fantastic. Getaway for a weekend in the winter because it's a large indoor pool. They have an indoor hot tub by this pool, but then you could actually swim under the wall and it connects to an outdoor side of the hot tub. So you could enjoy both. And my kids, of course, loved going from one side to the other, one side to the other. Now, if you don't want a kid with you in the hot tub, there was a separate outdoor hot tub that was open and was adults only. This is a very family friendly property. There were kids everywhere on that holiday weekend. Kids upon kids upon kids. Very busy with kids, which is great. But if you are on like a romantic getaway and not wanting to be around a lot of kids,
This
there
is not the
is,
place for you.
yeah, maybe not the place, or there is the adults only hot tub. So you can get away from them. I appreciate that they separated that from the other hot tub. There are several outdoor pools as well. So in the summertime, there's what they call an infinity pool, and then there's a large pool that has a slide going into it. There's again the kayaks and stuff to do on the actual bay. So a lot of options when it comes to activities involving water.
All right. Well, what about the non-water activities then? I think I saw a giant chessboard, which is always fun. I'm terrible at chess. I'll just throw that out there.
Oh,
But
I
you're
can't do it. No. I don't I tried to learn for my son. I tried to learn the rules one time and it just never took.
look, my grandpa taught me and I know the rules, but I never got good at the like thinking several steps ahead and what's this person going to do? I don't know. Maybe I'm just not calculated enough for this. I'm too nice, I'm not competitive.
Midwest.
Yeah,
Nice
that's true.
Midwestern
That's
girl.
true.
Well, my husband and my son do know how to play chess. So they did that nice outdoor chess. And it was fun because my two girls were designated, they moved the pieces. And the 4-year-old just loved that. Her brother would tell her which piece to move where, and they did the
That
whole
is
game. So
so cute.
it was cute. Honestly, it was really precious the way she got so into helping and wanting to do it all. So there was the outdoor chess, and then we also played putt putt. There's a small little 9-hole putt putt course that when my husband saw it, he was like, oh, this is actually a little nicer than I was expecting it to be. So it's cute. It has a little lighthouse on it, and I got second place in the family out of 5. I would like to throw that out there. It came
Someone
down to the
is
final putt.
competitive.
Yes, our family keeps score in everything. And my son won. Good for him. He's had a lot more golf lessons than I have, but I did beat my husband, and I will not forget that. By more than one stroke, I beat him, I would have you know. So that was fun. I felt like a win. We ended up saying it was by age group because the little one, wanted to feel like she won. And so my husband was like, you won your age group. You won the 4-year-old age group. And then I was like,
Did
oh,
that
that means
help?
I won the 40-year-old age group. They also had pickleball, and my husband and son, it was cold. Okay. We were there in January. It was very cold. So my husband and my son, they did frisbee golf. They did pickleball. I mean, they were all about doing all outdoor activities, despite the
Wow.
fact that it was, 20 something, 30 degrees. I don't know. I think it was 38. To be fair, it was a little bit warmer at
Oh,
the
that
38
sounds like
degrees.
summer right now, to be
Right?
honest.
True. So those activities would be incredible in the summertime. There's so many. There's a laundry list of activities. The property sits on a full, beautiful 18-hole golf course. So if you
Oh,
have a
wow.
golfer in the family, in the more beautiful times of the year, they can absolutely enjoy that. There is a spa on property, which I did not get to enjoy, but is absolutely there. I mean, this is a true full resort. This is not just a hotel. It's a full resort, and they have a game room for the kids. We did enjoy the game room quite a bit.
Who doesn't love a game room? Was this at like you buy tokens or is it just free for the guests or how did the playing of the games work?
Unfortunately, it is not free. Would have loved that. Now, there is free foosball, ping pong, and there's another room that has a couple pool tables. All of those things you can do for free. You can enjoy it anytime. There were arcade games, claw machines. Those you have to pay for, but I will say it was somewhat reasonable because $5 bought you 45 credits on this little reusable card that you could refill. And the 45 credits, a lot of the games were 9 credits each. So depending on the claw machines cost a little more and of course have no reward. They're over in 10 seconds. And my daughter blew every bit
Uh-huh.
of her money on those over and over
Uh-huh.
again.
Mhm.
But all in all, you can do 4 or 5 games with that $5. So I feel like that's kind of reasonable. If you're there multiple
It's
days, maybe you give your kids $5 a day for it.
it's very, as a person who regularly frequents arcades with a gaggle of children because it's a preferred wintertime activity around these parts, I can tell you that that is extremely reasonable.
Okay, good. I did not I was nervous. I was like, "Oh gosh, I don't even know if I want my kids to see the arcade room." You can't miss it because it's on your way to the pool.
They do
But
that on purpose.
oh yes. Oh yes,
It's
they
the
sure do.
casino,
Yeah, the
the
casino.
child casino.
So it was lovely. I liked the game room a lot. We let the kids go there both nights that we were there. And then there's also a kind of opposite the game room is a fitness center, has Pelotons overlooking the bay, has, weight machines, everything you need. And both of those are right near the pool. And I didn't mention this earlier. The indoor pool is set up. If you saw my Instagrams, you could see that you can watch movies. So every night they have a different movie. And some nights they even have like an afternoon movie and then a more evening movie. So that was really neat.
That is so fun. I have a very important question though. Was the pool warm or was it like Vienna warm where you got in and you were like, it's fine? And I got in and I was like, no, absolutely not.
Well, I guess that depends. I guess everybody would be different. It was very warm in the pool atrium room. The facility was very warm. So the water felt pretty nice. I mean, there was a hot tub, right? So comparatively, it's no hot tub, but it was very,
Right.
and I didn't really see anybody taking their time to get in because it looked too cold for them and they were inching their way in. People got in pretty easily. So I think
Okay.
most people would have considered it's heated. They would consider it warm enough. One other thing I will say about the pool, and I feel bad, but I'm always going to be honest with everybody. Always honest. Well, good
Amen.
things. There's a lifeguard. There's also life jackets and puddle jumpers there. I brought a life jacket and a puddle jumper for my little one. Didn't need to bring them. And in fact, the last day when we were leaving, I didn't have her use ours. I had her use theirs because I didn't want it wet while we were driving home. So that was a nice touch. I'm glad that they had
Yeah.
those there. Yeah, they have a little basketball goal in the pool. They had some beach balls, basketballs in the pool. So there were a couple little activities. We also brought our own, diving toys, that kind of thing to keep our kids busy and interested in the pool. One thing, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I'm going to tell you all because again, I'm being honest.
Oh boy, I'm
The
on the edge of my seat here.
I know you should be concerned.
Oh
Depending
my
on
gosh. Guys, this is a genuine reaction. I have no idea what she's about to say.
So okay, there's good and bad ways to view this. Number one, sometimes you go to a pool. I just watched a reel on Instagram about hotel pools, and the person was like, are you sure the chemicals are strong enough to be killing? Do they even have chlorine in this pool? Should you be concerned about getting in this pool that there's not enough, chemicals to kill all the bad stuff? Well, I can tell you this place had plenty of chemicals to kill all the bad stuff because my kids swam a couple times and did not take a shower because, I grew up in the realm of like in the summertime, if you go swimming, that's practically the same as a bath, you know? I don't know. They didn't immediately take a shower, okay? When we were leaving and when we got home, they turned red. They were red. They were burning. Their skin was burning. And I tell you, crying. The little one last
All of
night
them?
bawling, all of them, and Jared, my husband, because he spent more time in the pool than me and did not he wasn't as bad off because he did shower, whereas the kids didn't. Basically, chemical burns is what it comes down to from
Stop.
whatever chemicals. I don't know if it was chlorine, some other kind of chemical in the pool that they didn't wash off their skin, and their skin, I'm telling you, so red and burning. Once we got home, as
What
soon
did
as we
you
got
do?
home, I made them shower. I got special eczema lotion and things that my allergist, dermatologist friend had told me about before. And it is better today, 24 hours later. But it's not just this hotel and resorts problem. A good friend of mine recently went to a Great Wolf Lodge. Her child went to Great Wolf Lodge without her. So I guess no one made him shower either. She probably would, because she's a great mom, if she had been there. But her kid came home and he was like, my skin is burning. My skin is burning. And it was all red. Same thing. So I
Oh
think this
my
happens
gosh.
maybe especially with these indoor pools where they're really trying to overload the chemicals in the water to make sure that they kill everything, right? Because you don't want to have an indoor pool that is not properly chemically, I guess. The moral of the story is just make sure you wash it off. Anytime you go swimming, when you're done, which obviously a lot of people are saying that's common sense anyway. Yes, I understand you're a better mom than me, but I did not grow up in that. Whatever. Okay, we were having
Now,
fun. They didn't take a shower.
we never used to shower after we got out of the pool. I only do
Your
that because
hair
I
turns
can't
green and you deal with
stand
it.
my crispy skin from chlorine. But also, I can't get over the image of like imagining kids somehow swallowing this super chemically water that's burning the
Ooh,
outside of
true,
their bodies.
true.
I
I
don't
mean,
like
I'm
it.
not trying to put claims out there, but this is what I've boiled it down to.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
what
it's
makes
the only
sense.
thing that makes sense. Yeah. Okay, well, on that note, what else do we need to know before we wrap it up here? If someone is wanting, clearly, despite this chemical burn situation, you do in fact recommend this property. It sounds pretty amazing. So, is there any last final thoughts you want to leave everyone with?
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be back. This is a property that I'm like, wow, now that I know about this, we will be back despite the, situation with my kid's skin. They want to go back. They had a fantastic time. They loved it. The property is beautiful. I loved that in the communal spaces of the hotel, there were multiple places where there were fireplaces, comfy places to sit, tables. When we first got there was a family doing a puzzle. They had one of these things where you
Aw.
could pack up your puzzle if you weren't all the way done and then redo it. So they had a puzzle laid out on the table. People were playing games. I don't know when I have been to a hotel like this. When it was full, the day that it was really packed because it was the holiday weekend, there were people everywhere in all of those spaces just enjoying each other and spending
Oh, I
time together
love
as a
this.
family. It was impactful. I was like, I don't know when
Mhm.
I've seen a property like this, when I just saw so many families enjoying time together, and they really have thoughtfully made those spaces available.
Okay, that makes me so happy. That's incredible. I'm so happy that you had such a nice little getaway.
I am too. It was not, I hate to say unexpected, but I didn't have very high expectations for it, right? It wasn't a property that I knew a lot about, that I had really been looking forward to for a long time. So it was a lovely surprise to experience it, and it was great for a long weekend. In the winter, I think a long weekend, 2 nights is probably all you really need there. Now, in the summertime, there's so much to do. I think you could enjoy, many days there. You could enjoy probably a full week there, especially if you included driving to the ocean one day or doing DC for a day. You could spend more time there. In the winter, 2 nights is good.
Okay, this is perfect. It sounds amazing. Maybe when I come to visit you next time, we just take a little girls' night getaway and pop up there. I think that sounds fun. Hit the spa, walk on the bay, not beach, on the coastline.
They
I
do
don't know
have
what
some
to
piers. You could walk
a
all the way out on the
pier.
pier. Yes, I'll call it a
Beautiful.
pier, a very long dock.
Perfect.
Fire pits,
Amazing.
multiple fire pits
Oh,
outside at this
stop.
place.
You really buried the lead there.
I know, I've never seen so many fireplaces, indoor and outdoor, at this property.
I love nothing more than a fireplace. That's amazing. Okay. Well, guys, we're going to wrap this one up for today. Stay tuned to the podcast because there's some very big stuff coming up here, and we're finally allowed to tell you in the next couple of weeks. So we're pretty excited about it. So make sure you are following the show so that you get these episodes right when they drop, so you are the first to know. Leave us a rating and a review. Join us in the Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram so we can keep in touch. And have a fantastic week. We will see you here next time.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much for joining us for today's episode. We hope you learned something new and feel inspired to plan your next trip.
Remember, we're travelers sharing our experiences, not financial advisors, so always do your own research and make informed decisions.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss a Points and Miles tip.
We'll see you next time on Wonderland on Points.